Have you ever wondered how the pharmaceutical industry, a cornerstone of modern healthcare, came to be? The journey takes us back to the ancient world, where the earliest apothecaries, the forefathers of today's pharmacies, began. These were places where medicinal herbs and substances were prepared and sold. However, the industry as we know it today didn't truly begin until the 19th century. The 19th century was a time of scientific exploration and discovery. It was during this period that chemists began to isolate and understand the active ingredients in plants, leading to the creation of medicinal drugs. At the heart of this revolutionary change was the desire to provide effective treatments for diseases that had claimed countless lives. The birth of the modern pharmaceutical industry was marked by a shift from the traditional apothecaries to industrial-scale production. Companies began to emerge, focusing on the research, development, and distribution of these medicinal drugs. They sought to harness the power of science to create remedies that could alleviate suffering and improve the quality of life. In the beginning, the industry's primary focus was on the discovery and production of medicinal drugs. These were seen as miraculous solutions, promising to cure diseases and extend life. The pharmaceutical companies were hailed as pioneers, heralding a new era of medical treatment. However, as the industry grew, so did its influence. It began to shape healthcare policies, market its products aggressively, and wield considerable power over the medical profession. It's worth noting that these developments didn't happen overnight, but were the result of gradual changes over the years. In the early days, the industry was driven by a noble cause: to discover and produce drugs that could cure diseases and improve human health. Yet, as we'll see in later scenes, this focus has shifted over time, with profound implications for the healthcare industry and society as a whole. So, the foundation was laid, but the real game was yet to start. As we delve deeper into the annals of the pharmaceutical industry, we'll uncover the dark truths that lurk beneath the surface. When did the pharmaceutical industry transform into the behemoth we know today as Big Pharma? Let's journey back in time to the 20th century, a period of exponential growth for the pharmaceutical industry. This era witnessed groundbreaking discoveries that redefined the medical field. A pivotal moment was the discovery of antibiotics in the late 1930s. This was a game-changer, bringing about a new dawn in healthcare, saving countless lives and revolutionizing the treatment of infectious diseases. As the century progressed, so too did the industry. The 30s and 40s saw a boom in pharmaceutical research and development, leading to the birth of a multitude of life-saving drugs. But along with this progress came a shift. The industry began to morph from a collective effort to safeguard public health into a race for profit. The introduction of regulations in the mid-20th century brought a semblance of control, but it also created loopholes that savvy corporations were quick to exploit. The increasing dominance of large corporations marked a new era, the rise of Big Pharma. This period saw the industry transform into a profit-driven machine. These companies began to prioritize their bottom line over public health. This shift was subtle, cloaked under the guise of innovation and progress. But as corporations grew larger and more powerful, so did their influence. The pharmaceutical industry was no longer just about providing cures. It became a battlefield where corporations vied for market dominance, employing tactics that often blurred the lines of ethics. And so, we arrive at the dawn of the 21st century. Big Pharma had firmly established itself, wielding immense power and influence. But with this rise came a shift in focus from patient care to profit margins, from curing diseases to creating customers. Big Pharma had risen, and with it, some dark truths began to surface. As we delve deeper into the story, we'll uncover the questionable tactics and the influence these corporations have on healthcare policies. But for now, let's pause and reflect on how we arrived at this point. Stay tuned for the next chapter, as we peel back the layers and uncover the dark truth about Big Pharma. What if the medicines you trust were marketed to you in the same way as your favorite soft drink? Imagine this scenario. You're watching TV, and between the sitcoms and the reality shows, there's a commercial telling you about a new wonder drug. It's glossy, it's convincing, and before you know it, you're asking your doctor about it. This is direct-to-consumer advertising, a marketing strategy that Big Pharma uses to promote their products straight to you, the consumer. Now let's take a step back. You might be thinking, what's the problem? After all, isn't it good to be informed? Well, here's the thing. These ads often emphasize the benefits of the drugs while downplaying the side effects. They're designed to sell, not to educate. But the questionable tactics don't stop at direct-to-consumer advertising. Big Pharma also targets healthcare professionals. We're talking about whining and dining doctors, offering them financial incentives to prescribe certain drugs. You heard it right. Your prescription might not be based solely on what's best for your health, but on what's best for the doctor's pocket. And the impact of these practices? Well, it's more significant than you might think. Studies have shown that these marketing tactics can influence prescribing behaviors. That is, doctors are more likely to prescribe drugs that are marketed to them, even if there are cheaper or more effective alternatives available. But the ripple effects go even further. These practices can distort our understanding of health and illness, turning minor ailments into major health concerns that require medication. In the long run, this can lead to over-medication and a host of health problems that we could have avoided. At the end of the day, it's not just about selling more drugs. It's about creating a culture where we're dependent on medication, where we're convinced that every problem has a pill-shaped solution. These marketing tactics are just one part of the dark truth about Big Pharma. How much power does Big Pharma hold over our healthcare policies? Let's delve into this. The pharmaceutical industry is massive, generating hundreds of billions of dollars each year. This financial muscle is often flexed to shape healthcare policies across the globe, and it's an influence that's hard to ignore. One area where this influence is particularly pronounced is drug pricing. The prices of prescription drugs are often astronomically high, and many of us have wondered why. The answer lies in large part with Big Pharma's influence. You see, drug companies often argue that high prices are necessary to cover the costs of research and development. But delve a little deeper, and you'll find that a significant portion of these costs are often offset by tax breaks and government grants. Another area of influence is access to medicines. It's a sad truth that not all life-saving drugs are accessible to those who need them most. From expensive cancer treatments to essential HIV medication, the pharmaceutical industry's pricing strategies often create barriers to access. But how does Big Pharma maintain this influence? A significant factor is lobbying. Each year, the industry pumps millions of dollars into lobbying efforts, aimed at keeping their interests front and center in the policy-making process. These efforts are not limited to the halls of government. They extend to medical schools, research institutions, and even patient advocacy groups. Campaign donations are another tool in the industry's arsenal. By contributing to political campaigns, Big Pharma can sway lawmakers and influence legislation. It's a subtle but powerful way of keeping the industry's interests at the forefront of healthcare policy. In conclusion, the influence of Big Pharma on healthcare policies is both deep and broad. It affects drug pricing, access to medicines, and even the direction of medical research. It's a power that is far-reaching, impacting not just patients, but doctors, researchers, and policymakers too. The power Big Pharma wields is far-reaching and impacts us all. Let's continue to peel back the layers of this industry and uncover the dark truths that lie beneath. Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell. Are you ready to uncover the secrets of Big Pharma? Brace yourself as we delve into the labyrinth of covert operations and hidden realities that form the underbelly of the pharmaceutical industry. The industry is not completely shrouded in darkness. Initiatives have been taken to increase transparency and accountability. One such initiative is the Open Payments Program. This program, established by the government, makes public the financial relationships between healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies. By making these relationships visible, we can begin to address the potential conflicts of interest that may influence healthcare decisions. But the Open Payments Program is just the tip of the iceberg. Whistleblowing cases have made headlines, revealing shocking truths about the industry. Brave individuals have come forward, risking their careers to expose unethical and often illegal practices. Their stories shed light on the machinations that often go unnoticed, hidden behind a veneer of scientific research and patient care. These whistleblowing cases have prompted investigations, lawsuits, and in some cases, significant changes in the industry. But the fight for transparency and accountability is far from over. The pharmaceutical industry is a behemoth, and changing its ways requires persistent scrutiny and public pressure. This is where you come in. Public awareness and action play a critical role in addressing the issues we've discussed. It's not just about taking your prescribed medication. It's about asking questions, demanding transparency, and holding these corporations accountable. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we know about the inner workings of Big Pharma, the better equipped we are to challenge its practices and advocate for change. The dark truth about Big Pharma is out there. It's a complex, multifaceted issue that affects us all, from the doctors prescribing medications to the patients taking them. But we have the power to affect change. What do you think about it?